In the spotlight. In the spotlight. In the spotlight. Spotlight.
Welcome back to another episode of In the Spotlight. My name is John Horton.
And I'm Kyle Pierson. And for the next couple episodes, we're going to talk about sequels. Instead of doing like the top 5 best or the top 5 worst, we're just going to talk about 5 sequels that are superior to the original films and 5 sequels that are inferior to the original films. John, what's your first one?
First one is going to be Lethal Weapon 2. This movie is fucking phenomenal. It's a huge improvement over the first one. The first Lethal Weapon was great. I really do. What the fuck? You had to? Did you pick Lethal Weapon 2? Too?
Lethal Weapon 2 is also one of mine.
That's fun. I stole it. We gotta turn
you
this
didn't
into
steal shit.
You ain't done shit. We gotta turn this into like a game. Like I steal one of yours. Now you have to drink something gross or eat a hot bag of dicks.
I ain't drinking that olive, whatever freaking drink you made your wife drink. I ain't.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible.
I can no thanks. I'm not playing your little games, my friends. So tell us about Lethal Weapon 2.
Lethal Weapon 1 was a great flick. Lethal Weapon 2 really amps up everything. It gives you more action. It gives you more comedy. It gives you a lot more of the bond between Murtaugh and Riggs. You really see where these two have come together. It's not so much as good cop, bad cop, or crazy cop, straight edge cop. Now they're still that, but they're tight. They're really good friends. If one's in a do or die situation, the other one's going to be right there holding his hand. Maybe not holding his hand, but he's going to be there.
And that's when they're down the road.
Going on the merry-go-round.
Yeah.
That's what I love this movie is.
Yeah, I agree. The first one, you've got the whole, suicide backdrop of that film that is hard to get over in areas. It's still a good film, but the second one, we've passed that to the side. He's got a new love in his life, and things have greatly improved. It also makes for a lot of drama at the end of the film, but the action is intense. The comedy is great. Throwing in Leo Getz is fantastic. This movie is a textbook in making a very good sequel, because from the beginning action sequence in his wife's car to the very end of the film, there's always something going on. And the third one is a little bit sillier, and then the fourth one, they're literally jumping a shark with a shark in a freaking boat. And although I like 4 better than 3, but this film just is the perfect blend of comedy, action, drama. And yeah, absolutely agree with you. Lethal Weapon 2 belongs on this list. Next.
You're next.
We're going to do me. We're going to do, that's right, because you stole mine. So I'm going to go to my favorite film of all time, Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. The first film was in theaters for over a year in certain parts of the country. It changed movie making. How do you improve on that? Well, you just mess with the story a little bit more. The first one, you had a great story, but it's mostly you're in shock by what you're seeing there. The space, the action, the droids. You're just kind of getting hit over the head with stuff that you've never seen before, or in a way you've ever seen it in films before. It was just revolutionized filmmaking. The second one pulls it back a little bit, but gives you more drama in the story. There's a lot of questions that are asked. Is Darth Vader really Luke's father? Who is the other one? What's going to happen to Han now that he's in carbonite? And you had to wait 3 years to find out what was going to happen to them. Which now it takes 3 seconds to put in the next disc or hit, continue on Disney Plus. I can see why the new generation may not like it as much as they like 3, because if you watch them in order, 3 really is the most dramatic one in that order. And a lot of the questions that are asked in part 5 are already answered in the prequels. So a lot of the drama and mystery around Empire Strikes Back has been eliminated now that they made the prequels. But at the time, Empire Strikes Back was the one to watch. And as far as cliffhangers go, I haven't seen a cliffhanger this good ever until Infinity War. And that one really took the cake. In fact, I was more interested in seeing Endgame than I was Rise of Skywalker at that point, because that cliffhanger was so good. And the cliffhanger for The Last Jedi was not, which I'll talk about in the next installment. But that is my synopsis on Empire. What do you think?
I loved Empire. I thought Empire was better than the original one. I loved the original one. Fuck. I was standing in line for the original one. It's the first time I stood in line at a mall that stretched around the whole fucking mall. It was insane. But part 2 ramped up everything. Better story, not better acting, but better drama. The first one ended, you knew where you were at. It ended on such a happy note. This one ends on such a down note. And there are so many strings to tie up and loose ends to wrap together. And yeah, you had to wait for it. You had to wait forever for it. I thought the battle sequences were amazing. Like the AT-AT walkers, when they were doing that on Hoth, that was amazing. The Dagobah, that was a cool fucking planet with Yoda. I mean, this movie had so much going for it. And it didn't have the annoying fucking Ewoks. It didn't have the annoying
Hey, I like the Ewoks.
You would. It didn't have Planet Wookiee celebrating Christmas. Did you ever have the Star Wars Christmas album? Of course you did.
I had the Star Wars album, and I have the holiday special, the TV thing. Stir whip, 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 stir beat.
Stir whip, whip, stir beat.
Water, drip, drip.
All right, moving on. What's your next one?
Next one. Gonna piss you off possibly with this one. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
I should have actually said that, because that's actually my favorite of the Indiana Jones movies.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I know story-wise it's not as good as Raiders, but action-wise, it's another one that just never lets up. It's just bam. Once you get through the musical number, it's bam, 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 and it's got some of the most iconic scenes in there with the bridge and everything. So yeah, I'm right with you on that one.
That surprises me. I thought for sure you would be one of those purists that say, "Oh, it's George Lucas writing it. Of course, it's going to be a popcorn flick." Well, motherfucker.
You know why I didn't put it on the list?
Why?
Because it's a prequel. It takes place before Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, well, fuck.
You can still talk about it. That's fine. That's fine. But it's not technically a sequel.
You got to get technical about shit. Well, technically, Empire Strikes Back is like a 5th sequel.
Well, that's it's any sequel.
Oh, any sequel.
We didn't say it had to be a part 2.
I'm just doing part 2 stuff.
Oh, well, good for you. This is what really makes this what it is. It's you and I don't have to in any way understand what the other one's doing. We just need to get it uploaded.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
So why did you like it? I'm already. I kind of stole your thunder.
Yeah, you took everything I was going to say, pretty much. Iconic film, more fun. I thought it was a lot more fun than Raiders. I don't think there was a slow moment in the whole fucking movie, or a moment that you weren't looking forward to the next scene. Raiders was a great movie, but they had its slow moments. There were some parts in there where it wasn't moving as quickly as Temple of Doom. Temple of Doom had some gross out stuff. Did they do in was it in Raiders that they did the bugs Or that was in
No, that was Temple of Doom as well.
Yeah, see?
Yeah,
I had
Temple
a
of
lot
Doom and
more
then
fun.
Dial of Destiny both had bugs. But yeah, Temple of Doom. Yeah, Temple of Doom. I just love it. That scene where they have the spikes coming down, and Indy's talking through that whole thing. Says, "We are going to die." He's like, "Yeah, right." The other one, and Short Round. I
Oh
don't.
yeah.
There's a lot of movies with kids that I don't like, but I like Short Round. I've always
Yes.
liked Ki Kwan, so, and I'm glad that he's doing so well for himself nowadays.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I know a lot of people don't like the fact that Willie screams a lot, but it doesn't really bother me. I notice it, but it doesn't keep me from enjoying the movie.
Yeah.
But story wise, yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark definitely has Raiders and Last Crusade have the best story, but just as far as action and fun, I love Temple of Doom.
Fucking A.
All
Your
right,
turn.
next one is Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. This is the fourth installment in the Mission Impossible series that is still running strong today. Well, I think they just wrapped it up. They said final, but there's a lot of movies that say final.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th said final twice. So we'll see. I like the first one. I knew what was happening like right off the bat, so there was no surprise at the end when certain characters came back. So that really didn't excite me. The second one didn't even feel like it was in the same franchise. It felt like a completely different franchise to me, film. But the third one, once we started getting into the emotion of it, when they brought in, the wife character, and we're really, there's more at stake than just trying to save the world. I really liked three, and when I went back and rewatched the series again, preparing for the new one, I realized that the fourth one, Ghost Protocol, is really my favorite. The scene where he's outside that building with the gloves, it just seems the most realistic of the stunts he does. He does a lot of stunts. I know he's doing all those stunts, but this one seems like something you probably could actually pull off, and they don't just do a stunt and always have it go well. Things go wrong, and that's what adds to the drama to it. So him trying to get back in the building, I remember my heart was like, and every time I see it, it's so dramatic and it's funny at the same time. I just and you have Jeremy Renner in the film as well, and I think his character brings a lot to it. And I wish he was in the most recent ones as well, but he's not. I just think this one has the best mix of these spy elements, the action sequences, the threat of actual demise, and comedy all rolled into one. John?
Now, see, for me, Mission Impossible, like you said before, I've seen all of them. I've enjoyed all of them, except for the newest one. Hey. What the fuck? Oh, shit.
I could make a joke, but I'm above that now.
Sure you are. I've seen all the Mission Impossibles. I've enjoyed them all except for the newest one, Final Reckoning. Haven't seen that yet. I couldn't tell you a fucking thing about any one of them. I couldn't tell you the plot for Ghost Protocol. I couldn't tell you what the subtitle name is or the tagline for part 2 is. I couldn't tell you who was in part 4. Part 12, I don't know who the villain is. I couldn't tell you anything about him. So I'll let you have this one. I'll just agree with you, nod my head, and say, yes, sir. May I have another?
All right. It's your choice.
All right. Next up, I'm going to pull one out that you might not expect. I haven't thought about this movie in years. Conan the Destroyer.
Really?
Yes. I think Conan the Destroyer it's a good movie. It's better than the first one because you don't have that fucking long ass intro origin story. Our origin story is fine, but it went on and on and on from him getting his village getting destroyed to his time as a slave, pushing the wheel around and marching along, to his time as a gladiator. It just got kind of boring. The second one, the sequel, far better. I enjoyed it much more. I enjoyed his comrade or his tribe, his group of people that he had with him, his companions. Grace Jones, come on. I liked the villain in it. I like the fact that it was actually more Dungeons and Dragons style with some of the traps and things they had to figure out as they went along. I think it's a superior sequel. Did you ever think you'd hear someone say that about Conan?
I saw both of them when they came out. My uncle took me to both of them. He read the comics, I guess. I remember seeing both of them, and I could not remember anything about them other than he walks around with a sword. I couldn't even told you Grace Jones was in the sequel. So I'm going to defer to you on this one, and we're going to move to the next one.
Real quick, you see they got Red Sonja coming?
Yes, I did.
He's
I saw
like
that.
big in the Conan world.
Yep, yep.
I think it looks like crap. I think it looks dumb.
That's the thing. I wasn't a fan of the original. I'm probably not going to see the new.
Yeah, I'll pass.
All right, we're another buddy film. We got Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker, Rush Hour 2, just like with Lethal Weapon 2. Now that we've got the gimmick aside, which is Jackie Chan coming over to America, and he is partnered with Chris Tucker, who is very loud and flamboyant, and it's two completely different personalities coming together. We're past that now. Now they're friends and they're solving crimes and they're having a lot more fun doing it. So just like Lethal Weapon 2, now that we got the gimmick out of the way, we can have some more fun. And I think this film did it marvelously. I think this is a better showcase for Jackie Chan's stunt work than in 1 and 3 as well. So of the three, this one's definitely stands out above them. And I'll actually watch 2 over and over again, probably before I'll watch 1 and 3. So yeah, Rush Hour 2 is my next one.
I can give you that one too. I love Rush Hour 2. I love Jackie Chan. I've got a ton of his movies, especially all of his stuff from overseas with Golden Harvest and shit. I was really worried about the first one because I love Jackie Chan. I hate Chris Tucker. I remember Chris Tucker from Fifth Element. His character there was so loud, obnoxious, annoying. I couldn't stand him. So I was really worried how that was going to play out. I surprisingly enough, I think the buddiness that him and Jackie have, I think it's probably the best of the Hollywood releases. I think those two bond together and work well, better together than him and Owen Wilson. Him and I think he was with Sarah Michelle Gellar in The Tuxedo. God, there's somebody else that him and Johnny Knoxville worked together in some movie. God, I don't even remember what the hell the name of it was. I think Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan have the best chemistry out of all of his other attempts. And yeah, it's great to see Jackie Chan choreograph fight scenes and Jackie stunts. Chris Tucker was funny. I loved the basically the who's on first gimmick that they do in there. Yeah, great fucking choice.
And yours? And what's your next one?
My next choice, let's see here. I've got a list. I'm going to go with The Hills Have Eyes Part 2. The original Part 2 that came out in the 80s, not the remakes Part 2.
You're going way back.
Yeah, this one's way back. This one gets a lot of hate from the horror community, mainly because the dog who survived the first one is in the second one. I don't know if it's the actual same dog or not, but it's supposed to be. The dog has a flashback. What's wrong with the dog having a flashback?
You run in different circles as me. That's obvious. And you're dragging me in. All these freaking movies you made me watch over the weekend. Jeez. we got to rethink this.
But Hills Have Eyes, it's a group of kids that are going to a motorcycle racing rally, primarily because they have a new fuel that they feel they can sell there, and it's going to revolutionize motorcycle gas. Of course, they get a flat tire, or something happens to their damn bus, so they're going to take a shortcut through the desert. And in the desert, that's where Michael Berryman and the Hills Have Eyes people live. The setting is what really makes the movie for me, but it's also the fact that they take this movie from just a brutal group of radioactive mutants and turns it into more of a slasher film. And the slasher horror movies has always been my cup of tea. I love slasher flicks. So this one's on my list. This is a far better movie than the original one. You seen it?
I can't even remember if I actually saw them all the way through. So I'm going to defer to you again on Hills Have Eyes Part 2. My next one is the one that's really going to shake up the Trek community, Trekkie, Trekker, whatever you want to call them. Star Trek Into Darkness. I think this was voted the most hated Star Trek film by the Star Trek community.
Wow.
I loved it. It's actually because I had watched, I've watched the series, I've watched all the movies. I know who everybody is. I enjoy watching them. I didn't really own any at the time. I wasn't that big a fan that I'd go back and watch them. But when the new versions came out, I really enjoyed them so much that I became a Star Trek fan, and now I've got all the movies. I own the movies, and I keep watching all the new series. And what I don't understand is the issue that people have with the Kelvin timeline, because in the original Star Trek, it was established that there is other timelines out there. There was other Captain Kirks out there. And this is another timeline. And I always thought, because JJ, I liked his, I'm a huge Lost fan. I liked his Mission Impossible films. I liked the Star Wars films. So this one, he gets a lot of flack. But my thought is, what else was he going to do? In either Star Wars or Star Trek, what are you going to do when a studio comes to you and says, okay, we want to reboot one of, well, now, two, of the biggest film franchises in history? These movies, the TV shows and movies have been around forever, and people are very committed to Shatner and Nimoy and the whole crew, and I get that. But the fact that this is telling it and saying, okay, Leonard Nimoy from the originals came back, time was changed, and now things are playing out differently than they expected, I thought was a cool way of telling the story. Because if they didn't bring Leonard Nimoy back and they just said, okay, we're rebooting it and these people are going to play all those characters, then nobody, they would have got blamed for that. They're like, well, this isn't even attached to Star Trek, so how dare you? This is not part of Star Trek, so we don't have to watch it. If they did another, ship somewhere, they were already having trouble with even the Next Generation, which was highly successful and popular TV series. And the first couple of movies did well, but the last couple really did poorly at the box office. And then they also complained that Into Darkness is too much like Star Wars. Well, if you watch Star Trek Nemesis, there's clones. There's almost, you got Jawa-looking things running around on a desert planet with a dune bug. I mean, that seemed more Star Wars than this did. So I have to defend JJ. I don't know what else he could have done. The ship looks different because just like, when we went to war with Japan and we bombed them and they had to start over again, they got new stuff. And, I was always taught that's why all they're very techie over there, because they had to basically start from scratch after, the bomb. So after the incident that happened in Star Trek, then, that would explain why the ship looks the way it is and is more technical than what we saw in the series. It makes less sense that the ship in Star Trek Strange New Worlds looks different because that's supposed to be the exact same ship from Star Trek. And look at the exact same way. So they modified it, and now they have to keep going back and okay, now we're going to get rid of the holograms and try to. They're stripping things away to try to appease the audience after they realized they had made a mistake going that direction. But that one I had a bigger issue with than Star Trek Into Darkness. So that's my 2 cents on the whole chaos surrounding the Kelvin timeline.
My younger self would have fought you on that. I would have defied you, saying it's not Star Trek. How dare they, blasphemers! But I've aged better. I've grown. I've matured. I like them. I enjoyed all of the Kelvin timeline, and I never thought about the way that you put it with there's other Kirks on. Well, shit, every single season has a mirror universe. So why not? Yeah. And my God, science fiction with traveling back in time and doing something to change the future. How many movies and franchises has that been done in? Why is it not possible in Star Trek?
Well, Star Trek goes back in time a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, they go back in time a lot.
Series?
Yeah. So and the thing is, we keep doing all these spin-offs. Well, this is just a spin-off of one of those other timelines. I mean, and you had Leonard Nimoy in it as long as you could, and to try to bring it all together. So instead of it looking like, oh, this is a brand new number 2 and they're destroying the entire Khan, storyline. No, it's just a different version of the Khan storyline. This is film 12, not a rehash of 2. This is the 12th film. We're telling a different story, and it has some cool stuff in it. So I don't see why people get upset, but you can't change somebody's opinion. Right. So you can make them look at it another way. But if you have a problem with it, that's fine. But I love it and would love to see a 4th installment with this cast. I love this new cast. I love the cast on the series right now. So keep them coming.
Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. And if yours doesn't match mine, go fuck yourself.
That's exactly how that's said, too. Exactly. My grandma told me that.
Really? Mine too.
I think your grandma and my grandma were. Anywho, we got any more of these or are we done?
Oh, wait a minute. I want to go back to my grandma and your grandma. What, scissoring? Is that what you're trying to say? That's not a picture I want in my head.
We're wrapping this up. Have you seen my grandma?
No, I have not.
Well,
have you seen mine?
No.
No.
This is not good. I've got relatives to watch this.
I walked in on my grandmother on the toilet one time, scarred me for life.
I'm Kyle Pierson. And he's John Horton.
And this has been In the Spotlight.
See you next week with the 5 not so great sequels. Till then, good night.
Good night, kids. Good night, Grandma.
Bye-bye, Grandma. Bye-bye.